manufacturers, coal companies, horse farms, and other businesses. He became a partner in the firm, but says he and his wife yearned to return to their small-town roots, so they packed up their 3 children and moved back to Morgantown, where he was soon elected Butler County Attorney and then State Prosecutor. He is involved in various community projects and the local schools and is on the board of the Kentucky Legal Aid. Governor Fletcher appointed him to the Prosecutor's Advisory Council, which oversees budgets for Commonwealth and county attorneys. Welcome, Mr. Coleman. Philip Kimball is an attorney in Louisville, where he has resided all his life. He sought the Republican nomination for Attorney General in 2003. This time, he says he wants legal reforms, including the repeal of laws that criminalize discrimination in employment, and a law to make political discrimination against merit system employees a violation of state civil rights law. He is a graduate of Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he earned a master's in history with a published thesis on education of African Americans in Kentucky after the Civil War, and the University of Louisville Law School. Mr. Kimball served 3 years in the Army, including a year of Russian language training, and was a Russian linguist in Germany for 18 months, leaving the Army with the rank of E5. He was a state probation and parole officer for 7 years and began practicing law in 1980. After several years of general practice, he began concentrating in cases involving employment, the rights of individuals, and constitutional questions. He says he's tried cases all over central and western Kentucky and has handled about 100 appeals, including about 30 that have been published. He's a volunteer for moot court at the U of L Law School and says he is a lifelong Republican and the father of 3. Mr. Kimball, welcome. Finally, John Larson is an attorney in Lexington. He has practiced law for 33 years and says he's in court every day, primarily for criminal defense, traffic, and some family court cases. He was Lexington's first full-time public defender, spending 9 years in that line of work. He says his campaign for Attorney General is focused on ways to achieve justice with less incarceration. After graduating from UK in English Literature and Math in 1966, he was an Army artillery captain in Korea. He earned a master's in international business from George Washington University, then a law degree from UK in 1973, and was president of the Student Bar Association. Mr. Larson has made 2 nonpartisan races for the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Council, and many years ago was active in the Fayette County Republican Party, serving as its treasurer and Lincoln Club president. He says he has been active in many social and civic organizations and has headed the Fayette County Human Rights and Environmental Commissions and the board of the Kentucky Women's History Museum. At age 61, he's a senior Olympic participant in basketball and softball and was an assistant coach for a national champion women's softball team. He says his main job is raising a 15-year-old girl on his own. Welcome, John Larson.
Thanks, Al. We're all reassured that you haven't lost your reporting skills. I'm here just to make the program move along, and I'll try to do that as well as possible with the cooperation of these fine candidates. Thank you for joining us, and thank you all for being here. The format of the evening, which was clearly spelled out in advance in letters to the candidates, will proceed like this. First, each candidate will have 2 minutes to address the topic of the evening. The Attorney General is the constitutional officer charged with making sure that state and local governments follow the provisions of the state's Open Records Act and Open Meetings Act. These laws guarantee that the business of the people will be conducted in the open. So we'll know what those elected to represent us are doing. For 2 minutes, each candidate will have the opportunity to outline his philosophy about open government. At the conclusion of the opening statements, I'll ask a series of questions. Each member of the panel will have 1.5 minutes, but they may answer in less time if they choose. If I feel a candidate's answer needs to be clarified, I reserve the right to ask a follow-up question to that candidate. If there's time, we'll allow the audience to ask questions. We have established some rules for those questions, too. They must be on the topic of the evening, which is about open records and open meetings. We'll recognize the office. We recognize that the Office of the Attorney General has many other responsibilities, but our concern tonight is open government. Secondly, members of the candidate staff should not ask questions, any of the candidates' staffs. About 8:15, we'll begin recognizing candidates for a 2-minute closing statement. These statements can extend beyond the open government theme if the candidates so choose. Also, I want to introduce our timer, John Nelson, Managing Editor of the Danville Advocate Messenger. He's a former president of the Kentucky Press Association and president of the Bluegrass chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists. He can nonetheless read the time clock. He will signal the speaker when he has 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and 5 seconds left, and we'll ask the speakers please to adhere to the time limits. The order of speaking will rotate, and the order has been determined in advance. One last word. Please refrain from clapping until the end and do not interrupt the speakers. Please make sure your cell phones are now in the off position, as they say in the airlines. I don't know why they say that, but please turn them off. Now we will begin. First, we'll ask the Democratic candidates to deliver their opening statements starting in alphabetical order.